And good morning to you. Thanks so much. Indiana in the Morning is presented by First Commonwealth Bank. And in the studio with us this morning is Father William Lechnar, the Church of the Good Shepherd in Kent, joining us this morning to talk about this weekend's turkey dinner. Wasn't that great?
It was a fantastic event, Todd. Thanks so much for all your coverage.
Well, that's not really why he came. I'm just wondering how many leftover turkey sandwiches you have.
Not many. No. Even though it was a Steeler Sunday, we had getting close to 600 people who came out to our place. Wow. Yeah, wow. That's a lot of 30 turkeys.
That's wonderful. It's wonderful. Okay, what we really wanted to talk to you about was, I'll set it up by saying, as I said earlier this morning, I was talking with you a couple of weeks ago, and we were discussing this pilgrimage to the Holy Land, and you were telling me about it. And one specific thing really struck me that made me say to myself, "Oh, I got to let others have to hear this." And I didn't want you to have to tell it over and over and over again. So I thought, let's tell everybody about it. The pilgrimage to the Holy Land was just this past month, wasn't it?
Right. It's not even a month that we've been home. It was October 1st to the 11th.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So, yeah.
And it was set up, of course, by the Greensburg Catholic Diocese.
The Diocese of Greensburg. I'm the pilgrimage director for the diocese. So one of the duties of that is to plan for local pilgrimages that would be within our area, within the United States or international.
So how many went on this one?
There were 98 of us. 98 plus one representative from the travel company, Catholic Travel Center, that helps coordinate. So there were technically 99 of us. Mm-hmm. So it's...
And a substantial portion of that would be from right here in Indiana County.
Right. There were approximately 20 from Indiana County, from our local area. So it was good. It was a good showing, a good representation from Indiana County.
Now, what you said to me was, when you go to the Holy Land, you can't go just once. You have to go at least 3 times, because the character of the trip changes each time, doesn't it?
Right, exactly. I was blessed to go nearly 25 years ago for the first time. And, you're just kind of overwhelmed by the reality. So many people on our pilgrimage just paused and said, this is real. This did happen. Because you go to church every week, you read the scriptures, you hear about it, but then when you're there, wow, it really happened. And that's just kind of learning the geography and the physical nature of the Holy Land. The first trip is kind of overwhelming. The second time that you go, or the third time in my case, was an opportunity to pray a lot more and reflect upon the scriptures and the meaning of what all those sites are all about.
Yeah, I would guess that physical presence there would be something that just made the trip just fly right by, too.
Right. It's certain aspects, such as the Sea of Galilee. People think of the Sea of Galilee as being this huge body of water. It's only about 15 miles long and about 6 or 7 miles wide. So it's really, for us, a lake.
Yeah.
And but for where you are in that part of the world, it's a huge body of water. And so just to understand, again, the physical nature of where Jesus and his ministries went, especially in Capernaum and the 3 years that he ministered around that Sea of Galilee, kind of just puts the picture together.
Yeah, and you were telling me, and set the stage for us, when you're there and you're at the Sea of Galilee, you're literally surrounded by the New Testament and the Old Testament, for that matter.
Exactly. Yeah. When you wake up and you look out of your hotel room and you see the sunrise over the Sea of Galilee, it's kind of overwhelming, because you realize that's what the apostles and Christ himself saw 2,000 years ago, and you're surrounded by all of those places, situations, the Sermon on the Mount, the primacy of Peter, the multiplication of the fish and loaves, so many of those scripture stories, the miraculous catch of fish, the calming of the sea, all of those right before your eyes.
Yeah, just amazing. All right, so let's get more into the spiritual nature of your journey. And I'm looking at the most recent edition of the Catholic Accent, and right there is the cover boy, Father William Lechnar, and he is one of those who was helping to carry the cross through the streets of Jerusalem. Right. And describe for me that moment.
Well, those opportunities are just so profound. We were blessed to have, nearly 100 of us, so we were blessed to have 4 crosses that we could carry. So everyone had the opportunity to go on what is called the Via Dolorosa, or the Stations of the Cross, to those various sites in the old city of Jerusalem, where you end up then at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, believed to be the site of the crucifixion and the resurrection of our Lord. So you take turns, and when you see someone getting tired of carrying the cross, you take the cross from them. Mm-hmm. And it's a very powerful moment, because you're sharing the burdens of the cross with those around you, and then you're thinking of your own crosses and praying for all those who have asked for prayers. You know, Bishop Malesic, as being the one who requested this pilgrimage, has been very wise in inviting folks who can't make that physical journey to journey with us spiritually. And so we brought this time, if not over, I did lose count. It was approximately 5,000 or more prayer petitions with us that we carried in the street of Jerusalem and all of those holy spots. And so it's a very profound moment when you're walking through the streets of Jerusalem, and the stray cats, which are everywhere. There's hundreds of cats everywhere, and they're running in between your feet, and people are setting up their marketplaces for the day, and you smell incense burning, and you hear the garbage trucks in reverse backing up, and they're beeping, and it's another day in Jerusalem, which really wasn't all that different than when it was when Christ carried his cross. It was another day in Jerusalem.
But you are able to separate yourself from the modern world and take yourself back to that moment.
Right. And when you go through the scriptures after that, it's never the same.
Really?
You can't read the scriptures the same after you've done that.
Now, when you were with us a year or so ago talking about the pilgrimage to Italy, you talked about those prayer requests as well.
Right. Yeah, we had about we thought last year we had with 3,000 prayer requests. These were 5,000 new prayer requests that people submitted online, in writing, via email, so many different ways. And the prayer petitions are very powerful. And Bishop Malesic then has made a promise that he continues to pray for those intentions. He's still praying for the petitions from last year from Italy, and remembering those intentions, because it's a very special bond when you can pray with people.
When you returned then to your parish, the Church of the Good Shepherd in Kent, and were able to reconnect with those who were not physically on the journey with you, you had a real spiritual connection with them because of that.
We were blessed to have 7 from our community be with me. So we came back more as a group, and we're going to be having some opportunities to share photos, share stories. It takes a long time to unpack, not just physically, but it takes a long time to unpack all of those situations. We were blessed as a group, for example, to have an hour of private time. Just our group was in the Garden of Gethsemane, where it's believed Christ was in agony the night before, of his arrest and his crucifixion and death. And just to be able to have our group be in there to pray together, to be able to unpack that takes a long time.
I would not guess that the journey back to the Holy Land ever gets old for anybody. But talk about some of the new insights that you gained on this particular journey.
Right. Since 25 years ago, there have been a lot of political and economic and other social situations unfold in Jerusalem and its environs. Obviously, technology has changed, and so our pilgrims, which was interesting on this pilgrimage, our pilgrims were getting text messages and communications from family members who saw posts of things that we had just done moments before. And we had probably, I know it's over 12,000 hits on our diocesan website while we were away. We had people who followed us, and that was a different situation, because with the internet and that type of technology, we had a lot more than 98 people on that pilgrimage.
Yeah, I would guess that as the leader of the trip, one of the leaders of the trip, that there's a danger that people are only going to see the Holy Land through the lens of their phone.
Right.
And probably there are moments when they realize that and they say, let's put down the phone and just be in the moment here.
For example, on the Sea of Galilee, there were so many of us, we had to have 2 boatloads, and we tied our boats together in the center of the Sea of Galilee and prayed together. And when you have that silence, and you can just look around and say, wow, where am I right now? Think of where you are and think of what has happened here. That's when the Twitter and the Facebook and all that, all the wonderful gifts from God, you just have to put them aside.
We're with Father William Lechnar right now, and we're talking about the recent pilgrimage to the Holy Land. And we only have a moment left, but folks want to learn more. They want to see and experience again the pilgrimage. How do they do that?
Right. We have we continue to have folks accessing our diocesan website, which is www.dioceseofgreensburg, all one word, .org. And there's a blog and photographs and a lot of really interesting things to follow and to learn about the Holy Land, and tied into your own scripture study and your own form of worship, whatever church you may belong to.
And the pilgrimage is not just for Catholics.
No. We had non-Catholics who journeyed with us and who gained an appreciation for our tradition, and we with theirs, and we got to focus on with those folks a lot of the things that we share in common.
Absolutely. All right. So where's the next pilgrimage to, and when?
Well, right now we're looking at Oberammergau, which is the Passion play in Germany. That's long history with that. We're actually going to be looking at that in 2020, and Bishop Malesic has found that there is so much interest that we're looking at maybe Lourdes or Fatima or Spain, and then probably to the Holy Land again, and then there's always Rome. As people say, there's no place like Rome.
Do they really say that?
Yeah, they do. They do.
I thought you were going to say there's always Paris, and I thought, okay, it's a different journey. But,
it is. There's shrines there. There are shrines everywhere in the world. There's tucked away little shrines for pilgrimage.
Wonderful.
Even Indiana.
Hey, really? Thank you so much for coming in and spending some time with us. This has been fun.
Todd, it's been great. Thanks so much.
It's Father William Lechnar with us here this morning on Indiana in the Morning, and we're almost right up to the marker. Fox News is coming up at the top of the hour, and that's just a couple of moments away. The Brian Kilmeade Show after that, and